We're going to start with First Drink Fridays, thanks to Josh. He's an innovator. Closing. He wouldn't take credit for it, but that was his idea.
I just like drinks.
So, whenever I say I'm going to finish by a certain time, just know that that is the hardest thing in the world for me to do. It's probably already 2:20. So give me some grace in this one. Pass this picture around, please. So this is my boy. He's 7. He and I went to Joplin the other day. And I said to him, hey, I was thinking about going down to Joplin and helping out, and I wanted to ask him to go. But before I could even ask him, he said, can I go? He jumped up from the back seat. He's like, can I go? And I was like, sweet. I love that he wants to go love. So we went to Joplin, and in my heart is I want to serve people, I want to give my time away, I want to give my talents away, I want to give my treasures away, and I'm wanting the same for my boys. And that's probably, out of anything in the world, what I want more than fitness wishes. And so I wanted him to go, and I wanted him to have a good experience. And so we got there, and they said, will you hand out water as people are coming into this kind of triage of the Red Cross and figuring out how do they get resources and how do they get help. And we were going to be the greeters. They said, you'd be perfect to be the greeters. A tall guy, a short kid, a 7-year-old smile, will you guys greet? And so, yeah, what does that entail? And they said, basically, see those waters over there? And there was like about this size of a room full of just waters. We were outdoors, but there was like as much water that could fill this room. And they said, would you go hand out waters when people get off this little shuttle? And would you just give them a hand getting off the bus? And they're going to get off the bus, and you're going to just point them in the right direction. And so, will you do that? So I said, sure. Well, Miles the whole time is just right here. He's just, you could tell, he wants to like crawl like in the crevice of my knee. He's just like, oh my gosh, I'm hearing all of this, and this is not like what I do, So I'm like, Miles, here's the deal. Here's what we do. We go get all these waters over here, and when people get off the bus, we give them a water, and we shake their hand, and we say, hey, how can we help you? And he's just like, you could tell, he's so scared that he almost like started shaking. He's just like, Dad, I don't think this is for me. And I'm like, well, it's the only thing we got right now. And he's like, well, I go, watch me. So I go, grab a couple waters, and I'm like, hey, how you doing? Here, can I get you a water? And you would say, yeah, sure. And then I'd go, can I get you a water? And you go, no, thanks. And, so I did it, and I did it about 3 times. And I came back, and I was like, okay, so you want to try? He's like, yeah, okay. And so he walks up, and he's like, it does one of those. And he's like, see, it doesn't work. And I'm like, well, if you just be a little bit more direct, maybe try handing out the water, right? Like, hand it out to him. Go step in front of the person, get in their way a little bit. So he goes and he just does this, and the guy says no, and he's like, see, he didn't want the water, nobody wants water, and you're like, no, people want water, but now ask them. Ask them if they would like a water. So now he's like, but Dad, this isn't for me, I just don't really think I can do this. And so he goes up and he's like, with everything that he's got, he's like, would you like a water? And they took it. And then all of a sudden, he got comfortable, and it took some time, and people just started going, wow, what a nice boy, thank you, over and over. And we stayed there all day long. It was about 100 degrees, and we handed out so much water. And after the day was over, we were supposed to leave at 3. At 3 o'clock, he's like, can I stay? Can we stay here? I'm like, till when? He's like, just stay the night. And I'm like, wow. That's pretty cool. And I'm like, we can't stay the night. He's like, can we come back tomorrow? I'm like, it's a 3-hour drive. He's like, I don't care. We have those players in this room, I believe. The players that try the Skype, and you try it over and over, and 3 strikes and all that. I believe those people are in the room. I made changes this quarter because I wanted to say that with everything I had. You came to us from the YMCA. First impression of Justin? They had just got done with this huge corporate challenge all over the city. All these YMCAs were challenging each other to say, who could have the most results? Lose the most weight total or something like that. All the YMCAs, he won it. He's one of those players. Wouldn't you say? You said it perfectly. I had this even written down. Sub-queen. Hey, step into it. Whatever's best for the client. Right there. Hasn't even been with your, I just never heard this stuff. Just like sub-queen. You talked to me about a client the other day who's a high schooler, and you respected him like he was like your grandpa. You're like, I have to talk to him before I make this little tiny adjustment. Remember that? I was like, he's talking about a high schooler. Like usually when you train a high schooler, you're like, that kid will be fine. He can train whenever he wants, right? But he's just like, hold on, no, I got to go make this communication. I got to make sure everything's right and dialed in. Also was the king with Dustin on the session utilization challenge that we had last time. Won 2 out of them, 2 out of the 3, right? They can use sessions. They can get results. They care about clients. Mr. Wayne, did anybody know that this guy was like this close to like death 3 months ago? In the hospital, like going, what is going on with his heart? And he was like begging to go back on the field. And he showed up here for the quarterly company meeting. I mean, we would have paid him his bonuses and everything. He knows that, but he shows up and he's practically saying, yeah, they let me out early because I wanted to get back out. He's still doing heart tests today. Having the people here sit and talk about him when he himself is going through this trial like no other. Andy Garner, I'll never forget the day that he came in on a Friday afternoon at 3:30 or 4:30 just to sit down and talk about a client that we had a new strategy for. I mean, major league all the way. No questions, just Andy, can you come in and talk about McClelland? Bruce, okay. Came in, gave it everything. Sarah is a Major League Baseball player on like 4, she's like the Deion Sanders. I just wish we had more of her. She's performing at this level at like 4 different organizations. I just can hope to convince her to get rid of 1 or 2 of them so that we can have more of her at FDF. She works at Gribbles, she works at Aquinas, she travels, she has a lot of interests. That's hard to perform at a high level when you've got this going on, right? That's hard. Jeremy, on paper, puts in more hours and more investment into this organization than anybody here. Huge. Major league. Major league. Jonathan Wood, I've never had somebody ask me more the question, is there anything I can do to help? Just he stops by the office. Hey, can I go pre-sell a session for you? Can I go, like, if you ever need somebody, just do a free session because it would help out with the sales process? I'll do it. We just did it last week. And that worked. Just that, like, is there anything I can do? Ryan hasn't taken a day off vacation in a year that he's been here. We don't even have a vacation policy, so he could take more. You guys take it, all right? He doesn't take it. He asked weeks ago, hey, today, being today, Wednesday, is my anniversary. That's like, if I was going to take a day off, that would be my day. It's special for my wife. And I just said, you know what? Do what you want to do. If you want to move this to another day, move it to another day. He put it on this day. You know why? Because he's a team player, and he did not want to inconvenience one person in here. And so he'll go start his anniversary today at about 4 o'clock, and he'll make the best of it. That's what he does. Sarah Lee is a leader. She is a leader. She's led innovation. She led the task force for subs, like 6, 8, 12 months ago, whenever that was. Just stepped up, has leadership ability like you wouldn't know. And is, I would say the word courage. I'll go try this on. Lisa, she's leaving us. But it's not like bad stuff. It's like she's going to Wisconsin stuff. She's an innovator. The equipment center was her idea. A few months ago, we met via phone, I think. It was phone. She had like a page of stuff. But the equipment center started there. Then went to Andy, and then they built it up. Ellie's only been with us for a couple of weeks. Star talent. I'm just hoping she doesn't the first 2 weeks, if she repeats it, weeks after weeks, which is hard to do because whenever you start something new, you're excited about it. The hard part is how do you keep it going, right? She has that in her. Charisma, fight for the client, wants to be everybody's friend, wants to do well, wants to be united. She's come out of the gate strong. I just hope that she can continue it because this is hard. It's exhausting. We won't all be here in 3 months from now. It's just how life goes. Blake. Product of the system. Believer, right? Started the journey. I mean, he was working out with somebody, trainer that he loves, believes in this more than you will ever know, has had significant progress on his own, even through the whole Fitness Navigator process. How much weight have you lost since you've been at Front Door Fitness? 25 pounds. Champion individually and for clients. Josh doesn't take credit for anything. I asked him how much he curled when he walked in the room. He's like, walking away from me, he's like, I don't know. I'm like, no, I want to know how much you curl. It's like, I don't know, 50s or something. I don't even keep track. I'm like, you have to know what you curl. He's an innovator, big time innovator. I told you about the session calendar board that we sat down and talked about. He wants to do relationship too, which is, I think, about the best way we could spend our time. We talked about, hey, let's get together. Let's get together for a drink or something. That's why we did that last time, because he reminded me of something so important. DT, session utilization king. That's what we're after right here. I want to come to you and Jacob and go, hey, is this all like, I want to use you as this sounding board, right? Because you guys are there. You're already knocking out sessions all over the place. Kristen, new day. We've got a new day thing going, and we might have new day things that need to go on here, where somebody just goes, hey, this is where I'm at. I'm excited. I'm really excited. I'm grateful that she came to the table. She didn't have to meet me one day when I asked to meet with her, because we had screwed up in a lot of ways as an organization for her. I think we agreed that there was this mutual lack of confidence going on for both of us, but we're on this new track, and we know that doesn't happen overnight, but it's just something that happens over time. That's where we're at. I don't know where you are as a player, and this is my second to last slide, but the next step is for me to pass around this sticky note tab. I just want to know where you're at. Because before we can do any of that stuff, I want to know if you're like, hey, let's do this. It's not perfect and nothing is, but let's do it. Or I want to know, hey, I'm skeptical, but for 3 months, sure, I'll try it on. I'll try it on. Let's just go do 3 major league swings. I don't know where I'll be in 3 months or 6 months, but I will try this on. Or you're like, hey, nothing personal, but it's just not this core values, this mission, you as a leader, you're already 5 minutes over, company meeting time, whatever. I just want you to write down your name and a 1, 2, or a 3. And when you're done, just fold it up and put it on that white tablecloth over there. The last thing is this. Uniforms are important for Major League Baseball players. We've got a free shirt. Just pick whatever shirt you want. I don't care if it's something different than you ordered, but take a black, take a white, whichever one you want, one or the other. Pick the right size. That's for you. It won't be deducted on your paycheck. Okay? Free. BEM teams. BEM teams are going to 2 versus 1 time during 1 time slot. We want more of a team camaraderie, more relationship. So both people will meet with Ryan. All trainers will meet with Ryan. Ellie will be doing more just the Fitness Navigator, client interaction, getting results out, bonus out, all that good stuff. So this is our best shot at it. I want everybody to have a conversation with Ryan before they leave, just saying, yes, that looks good, or no, it doesn't, move me to a different slot. Okay, does that make sense? We just kind of gave it our best shot, but for the next 6 bullseye meetings between now and September 7th, will you please just go, hey, that slot will work for me 5 out of the 6 times, yes or no, and if no, will you tell him what does work for you? Will you do that before you leave? Will you put the little piece of paper on the table before you leave? Will you talk to Ryan before you leave? Will you grab your checks and your gas cards? And will you grab your shirt before you leave? I think there's cupcakes too for birthdays. Who had a birthday in the last 3 months? Justin's is today, I believe. Is that right? Next Wednesday, okay. So Sarah's happened. Andy, Jake. Lucas, all right. So we have cupcakes coming out. Thanks for letting me go over. I said 220 and it's 235. And that's good for me. I want you to know that. Thanks for being here.